How are the binomial formulas? Actually quite easy topic, you just have to learn the formulas by heart. And what helped me is to to calculate it by hand and not memorize the formulas first. So how you do that is, so first I'm going to show you the binomial formulas. Here they are. Good. And the way how you can memorize it, you just take this one and you try to change it to this one. And like you try to prove it. And so you take also this and you try to multiply it, like to write it in a different way, and then to multiply the elements and change the format to this one. And the same you do with the last one, you multiply two brackets and then you try to get this one, right? And you do that not only once, but twice, 3 times, and suddenly you will realize that this formula, if you know the formula, those 3 formulas by heart, it's a lot easier, of course, it's a lot faster, and this is what the binomial formulas are for. They can speed up your calculation in the exam, and this might be quite important in the exam. And also maybe at college you get much more complicated calculus, then it is essential to know these formulas so that you can proceed. And this is not a problem anymore, since this is quite straightforward, right? It's not happening a lot. 3 formulas, they don't change when you get into the exam, right? It's always the same. So this is something you can prepare very, very well, and I'm also going to show you how it works in the following clip. So have fun. What are the binomial formulas? The binomial formulas are 2 or 3, depends on how you see it, formulas with which you can calculate or with which you can solve a certain type of exercises very easily. So let's just write down the formulas and then I'll explain how it works. So binomial formula 1 works like this. So we have ax plus by, this is squared, and we want to know it separately, so we want to remove the brackets. So the formula says a squared x squared plus 2abxy plus b squared y squared. So this is called the first binomial formula. The second one actually is almost the same. So we have ax, this time minus by to the power of 2, and then it looks almost the same, except that here in the middle we don't have a plus, but we have a minus. So it's almost the same. You actually just have to memorize the first one, and you know when here's a minus, then also here is a minus, right? So the third one is a little bit different. It is ax plus by times ax minus by. This one is a little bit different, but still not too complicated, I would say. So we have a squared x squared minus b squared y squared. So these formulas, these 3 are 2 formulas, depends on how you see it. I always say it's just 2 formulas, so it's easier. You have to learn by heart less, but actually it's 2 or 3, let's say 3 in this case, 3 formulas you have to know. And with the formulas you can solve a certain type of exercises very quickly. Actually, generally you don't really need the binomial formulas, since you always can calculate the outcome of this manually, but the thing is always it takes a lot of time, and it is also likely that when it takes time and you need to calculate a lot that you make mistakes. So the formula helps you to calculate these expressions very quickly, and also then maybe easier than using the manual method. So let's just have an example. Actually, this time I take an example which is not very easy, but it is still manageable, and I know from experience that in exams, teachers or professors tend to to show you new stuff which was not shown before. So I want to show you a special type of exercise which tends to be in exams, but not when you practice and not in the lecture or in the classroom. So the exercise is the following: 245x to the power of 2 minus 70xy plus 5y to the power of 2. And we already see, if we compare to all this above, then we see there's a minus, then we have 3 elements, and then we see 3 elements with a minus. That has to be the second binomial formula. It's not too difficult for now, but then we also see, okay, we have some b squared here. Okay, this looks a little bit strange, b squared, but 5, if this is already a squared number, then should we have, like here, we would have a square root of 5, but this doesn't look too nice. And also in the front 245, if we take the square root, this wouldn't look too nice. So what we do actually, we have to apply bracket rules. And the way we do is we see, okay, we look at the coefficients and we see the smallest one, in this case is 5, and we see, okay, 5, also the other two numbers, the other two coefficients can be divided by 5. So let's just do it. Let's have a look what happens. It should get easier. So 245. Then we can just, if we have a calculator, then we can calculate it very quickly. Otherwise, do it the manual way. So we divide by 5, we see 49. And 49, hooray, this is very easily to use with the binomial formula, since when we take the square root of 49, what is it? 7. So we just write 49 x to the power of 2 minus, and this is 14, and because 10 times 5 is 50, 4 times 5 is 20, 50 and 20 is 70. Then at the end we have y to the power of 2. So it looks a lot easier, and now we see, okay, b squared 1, the square root of 1 is 1, in the front the square root of 49 is 7, and in the middle is also not too difficult then. So we can easily apply now the second binomial formula. Just relieve the 5 as this, and then we have the a, which is the square root of 49, so it's 7x minus, we have the b is square root of 1, which is 1 minus 1y and to the power of 2. So we just successfully applied the second binomial formula. And also I would say it's not too difficult, you just have to practice this a little bit. And also when you practice, you can maybe first start with a piece of paper where you have the 3 binomial formulas on it. Then when you practice a lot, then you will see that you already you get the formulas easier in your head when you practice a lot. So let's maybe have another example to the third binomial formula. So we have 63x to the power of 2 minus 448y to the power of 2. And we see, okay, this is probably, I mean, the numbers are maybe not too nice if we take the square root, but this should be the third binomial formula, right? And now the same thing, we have to exclude a number, like we have to apply bracket rules, and there we see, okay, this is probably difficult in the head. There we would say maybe we can divide by 2, but then we see, oh, division by 2 is also not too nice. This is 3. So how to deal with that? But we can also see that 63 is 9 times 7. So there's a 9, square root of 9 is 3. So this is nice. So let's maybe try to divide by 7, and we divide by 7, 64. This is also we can also take the square root of this very easily. So the trick for this exercise is just to use bracket rules like this. So 7, and then inside the brackets, as we said, 9x to the power of 2 minus 64 y to the power of 2. We didn't apply the binomial formula yet, but now we can do it much more easily than compared to the first line, right? Square root of 9 is 3, square root of 64 is 8, so we just can apply the third binomial formula very, very easily. So we have 3x plus 8y times 3x minus 8y. So as you see, it's not too difficult. The thing always is you should know these formulas by heart, and you should be able to apply or write them down quickly, so that if you see something like this, and the thing is also in exams, usually the exercise does not say now apply the binomial formula, but sometimes you have to calculate maybe a 0, or you have to calculate something where it is not obvious to apply the binomial formula. But when you know the formulas by heart and you are calculating on something and suddenly you see maybe this and you should take it apart, then you can apply the binomial formula if you know it. And same thing with other binomial formulas. So I would suggest just to learn it by heart. In the beginning maybe it's a little bit inconvenient to learn it by heart again, I know. I had the same problems, but otherwise I would say binomial formulas are quite easy. Just keep your eyes open. If you see maybe something like this and you don't want to take the square root of something like this, just apply the bracket rules, and then it gets quite easy. Then it also looks quite nice compared to the first line. So this is how it works, and thanks for watching. Practice makes perfect. Further exercises with solutions you can find on my website, which is www.worksheeps.com.